Okay, Namaskar. Today we will take on, we will start medieval India. We already completed ancient India. So first chapter is Kings and Chronicles. How we get an evidence of kings, especially from medieval India. Because if you know the history backs to Mughals mainly, so a lot of chronicles, a lot of things has been written in that periods. It's very very important because it gives a lot of information about these chronicles. So in this chapter, we'll take on what are these chronicles, what Mughals did for the people, what type of ruling they have. So we'll take on one by one for that. So as we start with the first part of the topic is that is Mughals and its empire. So as you know already, India was ruled by so many rulers in ancient time, and last ruler was Harsha. And after that, we come across with so many Muslim empires, Muslim kingdoms came to India. And last ruler of Delhi Sultanate was Ibrahim Lodi. So a lot of kings were not happy with the work of Ibrahim Lodi. So they requested Babur to come to India, and Babur came to India and he founded his empire, that is Mughal Empire, and he entered in India in 1526, and then he conquered so many areas of India, and from there only they started Mughal Empire. So this is just a brief history of all Mughal rulers, especially up to Aurangzeb. After Aurangzeb, they were very weak successors, so they were not able to rule India. So Babur was the first person who started and he founded Mughal Empire in India after his son Humayun. But Humayun was defeated badly by Sher Shah Suri. He was an Afghan ruler, and that was the reason Humayun left India, and then he traveled here and there. And after when Sher Shah Suri died, Humayun came back, and then he started ruling for 2 years. Then his son Akbar, we already know everything about Akbar, that he was considered as the greatest king of that. So in his empire, he tried to consolidate his empire. His extension reached to even Iran. And then we come across a new ruler that is called Jahangir. And Jahangir was not as efficient as was Akbar. And then a person called Shah Jahan came up to Mughal Empire, and he built so many buildings, especially in India. And the last important ruler of this was Aurangzeb. So Aurangzeb was very orthodox type of ruler. So this was the just basic glimpse of this chapter. Mainly we are concentrating on other parts, that is the chronicles, because that's the main gist of a chapter. So second part of this is production of chronicles. So we'll take on production of chronicles. Uh, Chronicles are just like a manuscript. This is like a book, and that was written about these kings, basically about all Mughal rulers. So a lot of information has been given about Mughal Empire, and we come across with so many chronicles which were written in that period. First one was Akbar Nama, then we have Shah Jahan Nama, then we have Alamgir Nama. So these are the main chronicles which were written in it. So if you see the language of Mughals, that was they used Turkish language mainly up to Babur. But the first person who started something to write about stress more on the other language, that was Persian. He was Akbar. So Turkish language was the main language of Mughals, and Babur wrote his poetry also in Turkish language. So Akbar made a Persian language compulsory in India, and a lot of chronicles were written basically in that time, especially in Akbar's. So mainly chronicles are manuscripts. These are heavy books because that time paper was not invented, so maximum things were written in manuscripts only. And main stress has been given after Akbar, that was in Persian. And the writing skill was called calligraphy. This is an art style of writing basically. They have a special strokes of writing that comes under calligraphy. So there was a very important style of writing that is called Nastaliq. This is a style which has been invented by Akbar, and that we have seen in many manuscripts. Then we come across with the third point of this chapter is painted image. Sometimes the words not able to express the things. कभी कभी वर्ड्स हमारे इतने अच्छे नहीं होते कि हम बात को एक्सप्रेस कर पाए. तो मेनली वी हैव मेन थिंग विच वाज देयर, so that painting used to give expressions. So there was a very famous person called Abul Fazl. He wrote, painting has a power to make inanimate object into a living object. So painting अपनी बात को बहुत अच्छे ढंग से express कर सकता है, and that was the reason a lot of paintings were made, especially in this era, and they tried to portray emperor and his kingdom and his court. Mainly this was the theme where they used to write on that. So, but paintings were not liked by a special orthodox class that was called ulemas. So there was always a conflict between Mughals and especially these ulemas, because they both want to dominate. And but if you see Mughals, they were of secular nature. They believe in that secular path only. This is the third topic which I explained you. Fourth topic which we will take on, that is Akbarnama and Badshah-nama. These are the names of chronicles. So these are very famous chronicles which are written mainly in Persian language, and it was mainly written by a very important philosopher that is called Abul Fazl. उनको 9 रत्नों में से एक रत्न भी हम लोग बोलते हैं अबुल फजल को. And mainly this book was divided into 3 parts. इसको हमने 3 parts में divide किया है. First 2 are chronicle, third is not a chronicle. The third book is Ane-Akbari mainly, that was also written. So this is divided into 3 main parts, and they give lot of description about Mughals in these chronicles, what type of activities they used to carry, मुगल कोर्ट्स में क्या होता था, इनके रिलेशन कैसे थे, लैंड रेवेन्यूज कैसा था. सो एवरीथिंग हैज बीन वेरी क्लियरली मेंशन, बट इट हैज बीन एग्जीग्रेटेड. सम क्रिटिक्स बोलते हैं कि कुछ बहुत बढ़ा चढ़ा के इसको लिखा गया है. इट वाज नॉट एन एक्यूरेट थिंग. सो बादशाहनामा was written by a person called Abdul Hamid Lahori. So he written this book manuscript that is called Badshah-nama. So this is the fourth part which I explained you. Fifth is ideal kingdom. आपका किंगडम कैसा होना चाहिए, कैसा राजा होना चाहिए, कैसी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होनी चाहिए. That has been mentioned earlier by Kautilya when he was writing about Chandragupta Maurya. What type of ideal kingdom should be there. So therefore he wrote a book called Arthashastra. Same method has been adopted by Mughals also. They try to stress more on kingdom. तो अबुल फजल mainly stressed too much on a kingship, और किंग को बहुत पावरफुल दिखाने की कोशिश करी. Every authority is in the hands of king, and he becomes very very powerful. So mainly ऐसा भी दिखाया गया कि राजा भगवान का रूप है, and everything has been transmitted from him only, and kings and his authority is supreme and nobody can challenge it. 17th century Mughal court started showing after king a hollow. जैसे आज भगवान की एक मूर्ति होती है, उनके पीछे एक hollow होता है. So that has been shown, especially this type of trend has been started because they want to portray king as a powerful. Therefore they try to represent through with the help of hollow, right? Then there is a very important ideology. This question asked many times in boards. That policy is called Sulh Kul. What is Sulh Kul? Because Mughals were of secular nature. They respect each and every religion because they knew one thing very clearly, कि अगर हमें भारत में रूल करना है तो we have to respect all the religions together. And that was the reason a lot of Mughal rulers started giving respect to all religions. तो अकबर ने तो बहुत आगे बढ़ चढ़ कर इसमें काम किया, एंड दिस पॉलिसी हैज़ बीन अडॉप्टेड. सुलह कुल के ब्रदरहुड वाली फीलिंग, फ्रैटर्निटी वाली फीलिंग, इंटीग्रिटी वाली फीलिंग, that type of feeling should be there. Therefore the term has been given Sulh Kul. So that was the reason so many rulers even started attacks on non-Hindus, on Hindus basically, non-Muslims. That is called Jizya. But this tax was abolished by Akbar. So this is very important topic which I try to explain you. Then we have another point, that is capitals and courts. आपके capital आज भी कोई कंट्री का capital plays a very important role, because आपकी जितनी भी administrative work होता है that has been carried through capital. So same way capital cities were very important in Mughals period also, and this is the heart of Mughal Empire. We can call it as the artery of a Mughal Empire. एंड कैपिटल सिटी बिकम वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो अपने हिसाब से उन्होंने अपने इस कैपिटल सिटीज़ को बनाया. जैसे बाबर का कैपिटल सिटी आगरा था. मेनली द लोकेशन ऑफ कैपिटल सिटी इज ऑलवेज इन द सेंटर, बिकॉज एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन कैन बी ईजी व्हेन द कैपिटल सिटी इज इन सेंटर. तो बाबर के टाइम में जो कैपिटल सिटी थी दैट वाज आगरा, एंड देन अकबर मेड हिज न्यू कैपिटल दैट इज फतेहपुर सीकरी. That's a little far off from Agra, but it's very closer to Agra. इतनी दूर भी नहीं है वो. And mainly they try to make like that. And Akbar constructed a very important mosque for his guru, that is Sheikh Jalalu Chishti. उन्होंने उनके लिए भी एक मॉस्क को बनाने की कोशिश करी. और देन द लास्ट पार्ट ऑफ दिस चैप्टर इज बियॉन्ड फ्रंटियर्स. तो आपका अगर पॉलिसी देखेंगे मुगल्स की, तो दे बिलीव इन टू टाइप ऑफ पॉलिसी. वन इज कंसोलिडेशन एंड टू एक्सपेंशन ऑफ देयर एम्पायर, एंड दे ट्राई टू मेक अ गुड रिलेशनशिप विद अदर्स आल्सो. उन्होंने ऐसी कोशिश भी करी और अपने नेबरिंग स्टेट्स को कई बार जीता भी, और कई बार उन्होंने अपने साथ उनके साथ रिलेशन बनाने की कोशिश भी करी. तो मुगल किंग्स बेसिकली ट्राई करते थे कि उनके नेबर्स के साथ उनके रिलेशन बहुत अच्छे रहें, एंड दे ट्राई टू डू इट, एंड दे ट्राई टू हैव अ पॉलिसी ऑफ सेक्युलरिज्म. एंड अकबर स्टार्टेड हिज ओन रिलीजन दैट इज कॉल्ड दीन इलाही, जिसमें उसने सारे धर्मों के अच्छे अच्छे पॉइंट ऑफ व्यूज दे हैव टेकन and make a new religion that is called Deen Ilahi. He was very much impressed by Christianity. He dispatched his own people to another part of the world to see what Christianity says about it. So this chapter deals with this. I hope you like it. Thank you.